Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. Today we're going to be talking about all the big changes that happened at Magic Con Vegas, big things and announcements. Everybody's been itching at me to do a video on a lot of this stuff. So we're going to kind of do a video on a lot of the things. We may do another video on specific things later. But yeah, welcome back. We've got some changes going on locally at the store, as you can see. We'll discuss that at some point, I guess. Going through, though, this past week, I was really bummed by a lot of the news. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit more bummed about this than I am typical Magic the Gathering news. I want to share why I'm that way. I don't want to be overly negative, though, because I want to start this video out and say, Magic's not going anywhere. Like, everything that happened is probably the right financial move for Magic the Gathering. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But that doesn't mean that I like it. And as a long-time Magic the Gathering fan, I get the disappointment and the bummerness of this whole process that is going on in the world of Magic the Gathering. I already have a lot of people reaching out to me. It's weird that this news stuff that happens, it typically causes a lot of people to reach out to me to sell collections, and it works out well for me. I love buying collections. So if you do want to sell your collection as a result of this negative news, reach out to me at KitchenTableTCG@gmail.com. We are always buying Magic the Gathering, Pokemon collections, all that kind of stuff. We can handle anything you have. So, all right, let's get into, I'm going to get into what I think was the biggest thing this week, the biggest change. The Foundations era, this whole big set they have coming out with the idea of getting people back into playing Standard and the foundations of Magic the Gathering. This whole huge set, this is amazing. It's amazing how bad this is. This whole huge set that's coming out, and they do a Foundations era thing. And then they say that moving forward with the release of Final Fantasy in the summer, Universes Beyond will now be standard. And again, I want to rehash this. This is the right move. This is the right business move if you are Wizards of the Coast. They sold a ton of Lord of the Rings. They sold a metric ton of Lord of the Rings. And that was, maybe they didn't anticipate how much they were going to sell. But 3 years ago, when they announced Universes Beyond, what they said was that Universes Beyond would not be a standard product, and that Magic Standard was going to be the place where Magic the Gathering could thrive, and the lore and the feeling of Magic the Gathering existed. And it's kind of a bait and switch, right? Like, they said that, and they got us kind of our feet in the door with the Universes Beyond stuff. And now they're washing out what they said, and instead here we have, again, there's nothing sacred anymore. There's no world that you can go to enjoy Magic the Gathering for Magic the Gathering. You will now always have Magic the Gathering plus whatever. And I agree with the sentiment that this is becoming the Funko Pop of trading card games. And that's for somebody who loves Magic the Gathering, for somebody who's been involved with Magic the Gathering for over almost 2 decades now. Man, that sucks to lose something, to feel like, and to put it on the Foundations era of Magic the Gathering, and now they are adding in something that is completely not foundational to Magic the Gathering. It just feels like a slap in the face to those who care about the feeling of Magic the Gathering, who love Magic the Gathering for what it is. But here's the deal, and this is where it's really hard to have a sane take on this, because I feel all those things, and I'm frustrated by all those things. But I actually think at the end of the day, more people will hop in to play Standard as a result of this. More people will hop in to play one-on-one cards as a result of it. This will be a big win for my store. It will cause more people to buy packs. It will cause all those things. And so it's kind of a weird dichotomy where, like, I find myself again in this position of accepting something that I don't want to accept. And that is that Magic and Wizards of the Coast have given up on creating their own brand and IP, and instead are opting for the safe route, the easy route, the lazy route of using other people's IP. Either direction, if they were able to make a very good IP and a really fun and interesting thing, something like the Netflix show that was on, you guys will always live in the comment section, it's that anime show that was on Netflix that everybody loved. It's eluding my brain right now. If they were able to make something like that and get people hyped up for the lore, it would have the same effect. People would come in and want to play Standard. They want to do all those things. But that is risky for them. What is easy for them is to take Universes Beyond, throw it in, and have this win. And like at the end of the day, I always come back to this. More people playing Magic the Gathering is a win. And it doesn't matter how I feel about that, even though I would prefer to not play Lord of the Rings and I would prefer to not play Marvel, even though I feel that way, more people playing the game at the end of the day is a win. I just wish that they didn't do it in such a, like, I don't know, a way that, like, is so, I for lack of a better word, I'm not offended, I'm not whatever, but it's offensive. It's offensive. They call it the foundational era, and then they say they're throwing Universes Beyond in. They shoehorn Universes Beyond in with all these Universes Beyond sets, and then they delay Lorwyn, the Magic the Gathering lore set, the Lorwyn, like my favorite plane of Magic the Gathering existence. They delay that a year in the same announcement. And it's just one of those things where, man, if you are somebody who loves the game of Magic the Gathering for what it is, that feels bad. And so I get it. But from a business side, again, I think it's the right thing. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's going to drive, again, currently Universes Beyond is so heavy in, you see some of it in Modern, but it's so heavy in Commander. And they are saying that they are trying to bring that outside of Commander into Standard. Although, like, they say that, but then the Foundation's Buy a Box promo is a Soul Ring. Like, it just has things like that. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, pick a lane, like, pick a direction. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Foundation era stuff. Like, I think it's the right play, but it sucks. I think that's the way I would phrase it. The second thing then, and then to add, like, fuel to the fire, and this is, like, such a big deal. Like, everybody knew this was coming. But to add fuel to the fire, in the middle of all this, they announced the SpongeBob SquarePants Secret Lair, which, low-key, I'm stoked for. I have accepted the idea, like, I got excited for Monty Python. I've accepted the idea that, like, in Commander, that's going to exist. And so, like, SpongeBob was a big part of my childhood. So I'm, like, actually excited to get some SpongeBob cards. But like, it's kind of a funny meme of like, this is all the things that we made fun of happening with Universes Beyond are actually coming true. And it's on the back end of this information of getting this Foundations and the Universes Beyond and Standard and all this stuff. The SpongeBob thing was just kind of a double slap in the face a little bit for those people who don't want to see that kind of stuff in the game. And I totally get that, but I do think that's a big one. And then the other big thing, I was thinking about doing a separate video on this. It'd probably do better, but yeah, here we are talking, is MSRP. And MSRP is a really interesting thing, because I think that one of the worst things that Magic ever did was to get rid of MSRP. But I'm not sure, like, I almost feel like it's too far beyond saving it at this point. It's been so long since they got rid of MSRP. So for those of you who have opinions on this, let me share my perspective as a retailer. And just so you know, my goal is not to screw over my customers. I have great relationships with my customers. I feel like my customers shop with us because we usually have pretty good deals. We have product in stock of, things, whatever. But typically with MSRP discussions, particularly with other games that do have MSRP, the expectation for the consumer to the retailer is not fair. In other words, the consumer expects the retailer to sell things at MSRP if the market price is MSRP or higher. So let's say market price on a booster box on TCG Player is $175, and MSRP is $150. The consumer expects me as the seller to sell that box to them for $150, right? But the consumer, if the market price is below MSRP, let's say the MSRP of that product is $100, the consumer expects me to sell it to them for $100 and not $150. See how that's not fair? You see how that lines up and it's not a fair thing? Especially when cost of the product could be at $100. And so where it gets really hard is, as a retailer, if I sell things at MSRP that are hot products, let's go with a collector box. So let's call the MSRP $250, and the box is going for $700. If I put that box up for $250, that thing's going to sell out like crazy, and people are just going to take it and flip it or whatever. So it makes it really complicated. MSRP, the world has changed a lot since they last had MSRP. I do like MSRP for putting a standard in place for ordering. And what we do at our store, it doesn't matter what the market price is. If I am pre-ordering a product, I always have like pretty much the same price. And collector boxes would be below what they are currently doing MSRP for. I typically do collector boxes at like $225, something like that. It shakes out to like a 20% profit margin for me as a store. I'm not rolling in the dough, trust me. But that $225 for a collector box, what I do is I do a pre-order for that, and up until release day, that's your price. If you want the product, you can pre-order it for that price. Oftentimes market price is higher, oftentimes market price is lower. But then after release, we kind of scale it to the question of, can we still get product? And if I can still get product, then I'll still sell it to you at that price. But if I can't get product anymore from distro, then all of a sudden I have to price it above MSRP, above the price that I was pre-ordering. There was no MSRP, in order to keep things in stock, so that when you come in and you are playing in our play space and you want to buy the product, you can buy the product. And typically I'll have it a little bit below kind of market price. That's kind of how I've done things in the past. I feel like that's a pretty fair way to do it. In other words, we always, when we buy cards, we buy them at, the market price and that kind of thing. And I feel like that's a pretty fair way to do it. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. I would love to hear your opinions on that. The idea of, if I can still get it from distribution, then I should still sell it at MSRP, right? Because the profit margins should still be there at MSRP-esque lines. But if all of a sudden I'm not going to be able to get that product anymore from distro, I need to make sure that when you come into the store, or when you go to my website, when you go to buy things from me, that I have those products in stock, and that one joker didn't just buy it all so he can flip it on eBay for, a profit. Like I have to run a business that allows you to enjoy the product that I have here. So that's kind of what we do with the MSRP thing. That's kind of what we do with the pricing thing. I think MSRP, adding that in, makes it a little bit, the sellers, the stores who are trying to do things right, it makes it a little bit harder, because the expectation of the consumer is going to be, you're always selling it at this price. That's not super fair, especially for, people who buy collections and products. I may end up paying more than that. If the market price of something is $400 and somebody comes and sells it to me, I end up paying more than MSRP for that product. I think it should be, the expectation for the consumer end should be different if the product is no longer available at distribution. And that's something that's really hard to explain to a customer. So the MSRP, I think I like it from a couple other perspectives. Hopefully it makes distribution a little bit more honest too, in terms of them raising the prices. Especially, we're looking at Commander Masters right now. Distro still has Commander Masters. They have it at roughly the price that we were selling it at on release. They've jacked the price up on a lot of that stuff. So I hope some of those things change with the results of having, MSRP, and I hope there's some conversations with distro about that. But at the end of the day, all these things, and the conversation that I've been seeing a lot of is super negative. Magic's dead, it's going away. At the end of the day, Magic the Gathering, for those of you who are online only and you don't have a place that you're playing and you're engaging with the hobby, from somebody who sees people every day engaging in this hobby in real life, Magic the Gathering is still way more about the gathering than it is about anything. And the health of Magic the Gathering, in my opinion, is that you can walk into pretty much any game store in the country, sit down, and within an hour or two, be playing a game of Magic the Gathering with your friends or with people and having fun playing the game. And I think outside of the Universes Beyond, outside of all the, the IP crossover, Magic is in a really healthy place from a perspective of, is the game fun? The answer is yes. People are having a blast playing Magic. It is an incredible, the design space that they have been doing over the last year has been incredibly good, and people want to be at a table playing the game with their friends, and that is the win. And as long as that is still going, I'm okay. Like, I can get over the Universes Beyond thing. I can get over, having SpongeBob in the thing. I can get over the MSRP issues. As long as people are still excited to sit in a chair and to play the game, I don't see an issue. And I see all of this stuff as potential opportunities for more and more people to sit in the chair. So at the end of the day, Magic is still about the gathering. I think that's a huge win. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know your thoughts on all those topics. A little hodgepodge of a video. Go shop at KitchenTableTCG.com if you're looking for any product, any things. Your support is amazing. You can join the Discord servers there as well. It is free to be in the Discord server. There are some support tiers too. It's free to hang out and to chat and to see all the information that is there. But if you want to support, you can become a blue wizard, which gets some discounts on some stuff, or a gold wizard, which is like $20 a month, and it gets you access to ordering product from me. Anything that I can currently order at distribution, you get at cost plus the fees. It's just 3% for credit card fees or whatever, and shipping. So let me know if you guys want any of that stuff. Have yourself a great day. Be kind to the people around you. See you again next video.